lesson.
Yeah.
John is working on Project 8, which is visual aids, so he'll be using some visual aids to present a message to us. He's the owner of Industrial Skylights, has been the owner for 12 years, and he's also a passionate citizen. His idea is to share with us that how important economics is in our lives, since every one of us participates in economics. And he is going to be speaking to us about that. He's also a member of the Liberty Movement, so I think from his perspective, he's got an interesting way to share with us what citizen is about, what being a citizen is in the United States. With his speech called The Lesson, here's John Buell.
Fallacy. A mistaken belief, especially one founded on an unsound argument. They're pervasive in our society. We are constantly hit with these concepts, some of them by accident, some of them on purpose. But what I want to get to today is some economic fallacies. And my hope is that I'm going to inspire you to check out this book. It's Economics in One Lesson. It's by a gentleman named Henry Hazlitt. I'm a big fan of his, and he really illustrates points in a very easy to understand way. His book is basically broken into 3 parts. And the first part he calls the lesson. It's a simple 1 chapter. And it goes something like this. The art of economics consists in not merely looking at the immediate consequences of an act or policy, but at the longer term of that act or policy. It also considers all of the parties and not just the specific interested party. Part 2 is the lesson apply. Let's go ahead and take that concept of looking at everything and not just the specific and apply it to some different situations. I'm going to introduce you to Susie. Susie's a baker. Susie owns a cupcake shop. She's doing pretty well. She has a nice storefront here in New York. She makes some great cupcakes, and her customers are very fat and happy. We hope, oh gosh, what a shame. Her window is broken.
Well, at least it's good for the economy.
The fallacy. Destruction is good for the economy. Let's take a look at this. We obviously know that the glazer, yes, the glazer is going to have some business now. He's got to fix that window. And yes, it'll trickle down. He has to buy the glass from the glass manufacturer. He needs putty to seal the window up and gasket. And he's going to have a truck and he needs to get gas. And yeah, there is some stimulus in that. But it comes at a cost. Now, what you didn't know is Susie is making a nice profit. She's saving money. She was actually going to buy a suit for her husband. She was very excited about that. She'd been saving for months on end. But what we don't see is the tailor. Now, she has to take and fix that window, and the tailor who was going to make a nice suit, that economic activity never happened. So the stimulus of the window came at the consequence of the tailor. And the tailor was going to buy material from the textile factory, and he needed to rent a space. So my point is there was no economic stimulus. As a matter of fact, on whole, the economy is poor. She is back to square one and has had no improvement. And as a matter of fact, she's minus 1 suit and the tailor's minus 1 job. So this concept that destruction of any kind can be an economic stimulus is a complete fallacy. It also purports itself in many other ways. You'll hear that a natural disaster, as bad as it is, well, at least it will be a boom for the economy there, the construction industry. And while this is true, there will be some construction that takes place. It is not a stimulus for the economy. That money had to come from somewhere. It's going to come in a couple of ways. Maybe the insurance companies are going to raise premiums, which lowers our standard of living because we can afford less in the future. Maybe they have to pull that money out of some other productive means. You know, the insurance companies don't just sit on a pile of cash, they have it invested which allows other capital expenditures to take place. There's also the notion that war can be good for the economy. This is craziness. It's just pure destruction. I'm guessing most of us were not really alive during World War II, but there was massive rationing that took place. People had to dramatically decrease their standard of living. They had to do with much less in order to fund the war. This guy, Paul Krugman, he is very, very influential. He is a Nobel Prize-winning economist. In June of 2012, he actually postulated that if we would just get the people of America to think that we are about to be invaded by aliens, the buildup of that would get us out of this economic slump. The guy really believes that. Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi once said, "We should extend the unemployment insurance benefits because it is a great economic stimulus." But this ignores the fact that that money comes from somewhere. It comes from all of you who pay taxes. Now, I don't want to say that we shouldn't fix the window, or that we shouldn't rebuild after the hurricane, or that some wars may be noble to fight, or the moral need for unemployment. That's a separate argument. My point is that they are not economic stimulants, and don't let us get pushed into making a decision based on a poor and incorrect economic fallacy. So the lesson restated, which is the third part of the book, is simply this. Economics consists not merely of looking at the short term of a policy, it looks at the long term of the policy. It doesn't just look at the specific special interest involved, it looks at the general interest. It's a great book, and I strongly encourage you to read it. As a matter of fact, I'll be sending out an email with a link to this book. You can download it for free, and I strongly encourage you to do so. And if you're not on my emailing list, you can simply Google economics in one lesson. Thank you very much.